start recording. And I'm going to share the screen. All right. Need to rearrange a little bit, a few things. Participants and the chat. So at any point, if you have comments, questions, please send them to my way via chat or just speak out loud, okay? All right, let's get started. Well, this is for geometry, so this is not it. Okay, you guys ready? Whew. So let's get started. So today we are going to figure out how to find x and y intercepts of a parabola. Okay, again, just to give you a little overview. So we've got parabola, right? It is this U shape graph, okay? And it is in the form of y equals ax squared plus bx. I guess you don't need to write this down, okay? This is from Monday, Monday's notes. But we are going to find out x-intercepts and a y-intercept. Okay. You could potentially, we were discussing that we will have two x-intercepts, but we will only see one y-intercept. Okay. Quadratic function cannot have a multiple y-intercept, but there will be only one y-intercept. But you can potentially have a 2x intercepts, okay? And so we are trying to find that, okay? Somebody came in. All right. So let's admit the student. Okay, great. How many do we have? 14. Ooh. Well, hopefully more people will join us, but so we're going to find x and y intercept of parabola. Again, I was mentioning that. Well, let's do a little better job. So you can possibly have two x-intercepts and then one y-intercept, right? So these are x-intercept. That's y-intercept, okay? Now, before we talk about how to find x-intercepts and y-intercept, I just have a little, this linear function right here. You see this, guys? Okay. Now, let's just talk about the nature of x-intercept and y-intercept, okay? What I mean by that is this. Can somebody give me the coordinate of this x-intercept right here? What is the coordinate? I'm talking about this x-intercept. Yes, it's -3, but more specifically, can you give me, Arlie, with a coordinate? Yeah, okay, very good. It is -3 and 0, isn't it? Okay. How about this y-intercept? What is the coordinate there? It is, in this case, specific case, 0, 2, right? Very good. Thank you, guys. Now, so let's talk about x-intercept first. X-intercept. What can you tell me about, I mean, do you make it, can you make any general statement, observation about x-intercept, y-intercept regarding that zeros that you see? I don't know. It's maybe too vague of a question. What I'm getting at is this. Would you all agree, well, that any x-intercept, the y value is always 0? Would you agree with that? Let me think about this. Let's say you've got like that. What's the coordinate right there? Let's say this is 3. Isn't it 3, 0? Again, what do you see about y coordinate? Isn't y coordinate 0? So when we are talking about x-intercept, y value has to be always 0. When y is 0, and then you have some x value, specific x value. Would you agree with that? And so for same kind of a reasoning, if you are talking about y-intercept, what can you tell me about x-coordinate? Yeah, would you agree that x-coordinate of y-intercept is always 0? Right there. Yeah. Do you guys want to write this down? This is really important. If you are ever wanting to move on to math related or science related field, you probably will take more math classes, right? And they'll just talk about x-intercepts and y-intercepts all the time, okay? And let me, and your next, the professor or whoever, they're going to ask you, okay, how do you find x-intercept? How do you find y-intercept? So let's write this down right here. To find x-intercept, we are going to set y equal to 0. And then you're going to solve for that x value. That x value is going to be x-intercept. And to find y-intercept, you are going to set x equal to 0. And then you're going to solve for y. Why do we do that? It's because of this picture right there, right? Again, if you want to find the x-intercept, you're going to set y to 0. Because x-intercept always has y coordinate 0. And if you want to find y-intercept, you better set x to 0. Because y-intercept has always x value 0. Does that make sense, guys? Yes, no, so, and I'm gonna keep asking you guys, okay? Okay, how do you find x-intercept? Tell me, okay? How do you find y-intercept? And this is what I want you to tell me. If I said ever, and I will, today, tomorrow, next week. Hey, how do you find x-intercept? And you're gonna say what? Let's practice this. Okay, how do you find x-intercept? Say out loud. To find x-intercept, what are you gonna do? You're going to set y to 0, y equal to 0, and solve for x. And how do you find y-intercept? Speak out loud, guys. We're going to set x to 0 and solve for y. Okay? Did you guys say that? Too early in the morning to do math, maybe? Again, for those came in late, we were saying that, we used to meet at 7:30. Do you guys remember that days? Oh, 8:15 sounds a lot better than 7:30 though. So, all right. So, let's do this, okay? Now, somebody is waiting. All right. So, we've got quadratic function, okay? Now, we never talked about quadratic function. A quadratic function always has this form. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. This is the form of quadratic function, which gives you the U shape, okay? And so we've got this quadratic. It's somewhere. It's a U shape, okay? But we are okay. All right. Thanks for letting me know, Diana. So we are trying to figure out x and y intercept, okay, of this. Now let's figure out what x intercept is going to be. Okay, so let's write it down, x intercept. That's what we are trying to find out. You guys with me? So again, one more time, tell me the process of finding x-intercept. How do you find it? Everybody say out loud. To find x-intercept, what are you going to do? You're going to set y equal to 0 and solve for x. So let's do exactly that. You're going to set y to 0, right? So I'm going to set 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. Okay? And then we're going to solve for x. Now, how do you solve for x when you have a quadratic equations? That's a little tricky, right? Okay, so there is a way to do this. Okay, do you guys remember what we did on Tuesday? We worked on factoring. Do you guys remember that? Now, I don't know if you remember, but I said factoring is useful when we are finding x-intercept. Okay, so what we are going to do right now is that we are going to factor it. Okay, so we're just going to write down the 0 equals, and then we're going to factor this expression. Okay, if you were absent on Tuesday, hopefully you were able to catch up yesterday. If not, this may be a little confusing, but again, you really need to go back to Tuesday's video and Yeah, watch that and take notes, okay? But maybe you can figure out as we go through this, okay? So what was the first step of factoring? You guys remember? We are going to focus on which term? We're going to focus on this x squared, right? And what do we do next? That's right. And then we're going to x squared is coming from it's x times x when we distribute, isn't it? X times x is x squared, right? Very good. What's next? Which number are we going to focus on? Very good. We're going to focus on, we're going to skip the middle term, but we're going to focus on -8. And we're going to ask yourself what? We're going to ask what times what gives -8? Yeah? So give me one. I mean, there are only two possibilities. 1 times 8 or 2 times 4, right? So let's just put 2 and 4 right there. And what are we going to do? We're going to draw donut shape. Very good. By the way, nobody explained. This is kind of my way of no teachers will say donut shape, but so it's Mr. Takara's original method here. But you're gonna do donut shape. You got 2x and 4x. Well, there is this method, but I'm explaining it like a donut shape, right? So, and we want to create, you're going to add them together to create the middle term, okay? And you want to make it into -2x, which is the middle term. How do you do that? Right now, 4x plus 2x is 6x. We don't want 6x, but yeah, you want to make 4x negative, but 2x as a positive. Then when you add them together, you get the middle term. So 2 will take the positive, 4 will be the negative. Yeah, do you get that? So now you factored it, okay? Now, well, what does that mean, right? But what we are not done yet, because again, what are we trying to find out? We are trying to find out x-intercept, okay? Now, here is the beauty, if you, with a stretch of a little imagination, is finding why we are using factoring, okay? And that is, you want to ask yourself, what can I put into x that will make it equal to 0? Okay, can somebody think about that? What can you put into x that will make it equal to 0? How about this? How about if I stick, yes. What if I stick in -2 into x? Now, what is -2 plus 2? Isn't it 0? Right? Now, but 0 times anything is still 0, right? So -2 will fit in. And the same thing, if I put, how about 4 into x? What is a 4 minus 4? Isn't it 0? Right? And so 0 times anything is still 0. So that fits in. And so in other words, the solution is that -2 and 4. But let me give you a little more specific, specific method. So what you want to do is you want to set each parentheses equal to 0, meaning you're going to set x plus 2 equal to 0, and then you're going to solve for x. And if you subtract 2, basically you get x equals -2. And that is going to be the solution. Same thing, x minus 4 equals to 0. And then you're going to solve it by adding 4. So x equals 4. So you found x-intercepts, 2 x-intercepts by factoring. It's -2 and +4. I don't know if it's making any sense to you. Okay. But we'll go through 2 more examples, okay? And then we'll do some assignment. But before that, we got to find also y-intercept too. Now, to find y-intercept is going to be very easy, okay? That's right, very good. Zero product property. Yeah, very good, very impressive. Yeah, I'm surprised that you knew that, the phrase. Yes, this is called zero product property because you want to find something that will, 0 times anything is a 0, right? Yes. Now let's talk about y-intercept. Everybody tell me how to find a y-intercept. What does it say? All right, yes, sir. Well, how do you find a y-intercept? You're going to set x to 0 and solve for y. Okay, that's how you find y-intercept. So let's do exactly that. So you're going to set all x to 0. Okay, so you're going to do y equals 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 8. You're going to set x equal to 0. You're going to turn all the x's into 0. So I've done that. What's a 0 squared? That's a 0. What's -2 times 0? That's a 0. So what do you have left? Y equals -8. So you just found y-intercept. Okay. What do you guys think? Is this doable? I want to show you something here. It's called Desmo. Yeah, okay. Desmos.com/equation calculator. Okay. If you have an internet, well, you do have internet computer, desmos.com/calculator. Let's see, to everyone. Well, Jacob was waiting. Okay, will you take a look at the chat? So I am going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to share a different screen here. Where is it? Dismal. Okay. Right there. So this is called Desmos. I don't know if you've used this before with different teachers. You can graph it. Okay, this is because we don't have a graphing calculators. I don't know if you have a graphing calculators. Will you take out your graphing calculators and just type in and go to y equals button? But if not, let's see what. I don't even remember the equation. Y equals, what was the equation? X square. How do I do the square? Square and, okay, what was the equation? Negative 2x minus 8. Minus 2x minus 8. Here it is. Here is the equation. And we said that the x-intercept is 4, which is right here. Do you guys all see that? 4 is the x-intercept, and negative 2 is the another x-intercept. And then we've got negative 8 as the y-intercept. You see that? It fits, right? Okay, stop share. Maybe we won't do that. So again, let's sketch this, guys. It's just going to be the rough sketch. Okay. So we've had x-intercept is 4. And we've had another x-intercept at negative 2. And then we've had y-intercept negative 8. And so we've had parabola like that. Okay. Will you add that graph in? Okay, let's try another one. Okay, where did the, oh, I guess I'm not sharing I'm sorry, guys. So share screen, go back to that. That's a little too much of sharing this page and this page. And so now I can't see the chat. That's right. Yeah, it is a good way to check your work. You can use that Desmos to see if your answer is really correct, right? And so that's a nice way to do that. Okay. All right. All right. Let's do example number 2. Okay. So let's x-intercept. Let's just write down that so that we know what we are trying to find out. We are trying to find out x-intercept. Okay. So how do you do that? Again, you guys tell me, how do you find x-intercept? You're going to set y equal to 0. So you're going to turn y to 0. So 0 equals 2x squared plus 15x plus 7. Okay? And next, what are you going to do? You're going to factor the expression. Okay? Now, what is the first step of factoring? You're going to look at 2x squared, right? How do you get 2x squared, guys? It is by, only way is 2x and x. You okay so far? And what's the next step? We're going to look at 7, okay? And you're going to ask yourself, what times what equals 7? Tell me what times what gives 7? There's only one possibility. It's 1 times 7. It's 1, 7 combination, right? Very good. So let's just put 1 and 7, okay? And after that, we're going to do what? We're going to do the donuts. 1x, 2x times 7 is 14x. Hey, that was a lucky guess. Can you create 15x, the middle term, by adding them? Yes, exactly fits, right? 1x plus 14x is 15x. And so that's that, okay? So I'm gonna erase that. And so that's factoring, okay? Now we're going to use zero product property that Leslie reminded us of, and we're going to set each parentheses equal to 0. That's right. 2x plus 1 equal to 0. And then you're going to solve for x. Now, what do you get? So get rid of 1, subtract 1 on both sides, and then divide by 2, right? So subtract 1, 2x equals -1, and then divide by 2 and divide by 2. So x equals -1/2 or -0.5. So we found one x-intercept. Generic, all the yeah, you guys used to do, you're talking about the factoring, right, Leslie? Or maybe some of you did the diamond methods. Has anybody done that? Yeah. Do you like this way? You can do the diamond method if that's easier for you. But okay. All right. Good. Let's do the other one. So again, this is the one x-intercept, and the other one is x plus 7 equals 0. And then you're going to move 7 to the other side. Subtract 7, subtract 7, x equals -7. And you don't even, basically, if you just have expression like this, x plus 7, the solution is just going to be the opposite number, -7. You get that? But if you have a 2x plus 1, then you might want to set it equal to 0 and then solve it, because it's not quite obvious, is it? Right? So it turned out to be -1/2. Okay? So these are the x-intercepts. Okay? Next one, y-intercept. Again, y-intercept is weird. Can somebody tell me what y-intercept is gonna be without even doing anything? What's gonna be the y-intercept? Y-intercept is gonna be 7, that last number, isn't it? Because, but let's go through the procedure one more time. We don't need to write this next time, okay? But how do you find y-intercept? You're going to set x to 0, right? You're going to set x to 0. So if you do that, you got 2 times 0 squared plus 15 times 0 plus 7. But what is a 2 times 0 squared? That's a 0. What's 15 times 0? That's a 0. So you've got y equals 7. So y-intercept is 7. And we don't need to write that, write this, because it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Okay. Now, I want to show you this decimal, but now I have to switch screen back and forth. So I'm just going to, if you have a decimal with you, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see that x-intercept is going to be -1/2 and -7. And then the y-intercept is 7 over here. So you're going to see it's not very pretty, but you're going to see a parabola like that. Well, that's not okay. Okay, let's try one more time, guys. Are you guys with me here? Okay, example number 3. This is the last one, guys. And then we'll do some assignments. Okay. So why don't you try by yourself and see if you can find x-intercept and y-intercept. Whoa, somebody is waiting. Didn't notice that. Wait a second. Yeah, I will try to post the recording. I don't know. I mean today, but I've got class right after this. It's not as easy as just dragging the recording to the file. It takes some time to format the video, and then post it and then upload it. So it kind of takes a little bit of time, but I will try to get that done this afternoon. Okay. So, okay, Sierra, I know you just came in. Again, I will be posting the video this afternoon, so please watch the earlier part of it. We are almost done with going through the lesson. So, okay, let's go over. Did you find x-intercept and y-intercept? So to find x-intercept, you're going to set y to 0, and we are going to factor it. To factor, first term is x squared, so it has to be x and x. We're going to skip the middle term, but focus on the last term, 8. What times what gives 8? And it's 2 times 4, right? It could be 1 times 8, but I'm thinking 2 times 4. That's 2x. If you distribute, that's 4x. Can we create, and if you add them, you want to get the middle term, which is negative 6x. How do I do that? If both of them, 4x and 2x is negative, negative 2x and plus negative 4x is negative 6x, isn't it? Okay, so both terms will take negative. And negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. So that fits. Everything fits. Okay? And I'm going to erase that. And now, x-intercept is going to be basically the opposite number, isn't it? It's going to be 2 and 4. So that's it. You found x-intercepts. And then y-intercept basically is going to be that number. So I'm not even going to write that. Y-intercept is going to be 8. And if you were to graph this, it's going to be just rough sketch. 2 and 4. And then 8 is up here. So parabola is going to be something like that. Okay. Okay, that's it. Okay, I hope you were able to do that. Who's got correct answers? 2, 4, and y-intercept is 8. Did you guys get that? Let's do the assignment. The assignments are posted on Canvas. There are 5 questions. Same thing, okay? So I want you to work on that. We've got about 35 minutes, okay? If you feel like you can work on it by yourself, then you do that. Otherwise, I'm going to work on it and you can follow me, okay? If you don't want to download it, you can take a picture right now. These are the 5 problems, okay? 1 through 5. And I want you to find x-intercepts and y-intercept. So take a picture of that and then start working. Once you're done, turn it in and you're done for today. For math, okay? All right, let's work on number 1, okay? So to find x-intercept, what are you going to do? You're going to set y to 0. Then you're going to factor it. Now, how do you factor this? You want to work on that by yourself? If you want to go along, first step of factoring is to focus on that x squared. Okay? How do you get x squared when you FOIL, when you distribute? It is by x times x, isn't it? When you distribute x times x, you get x squared. And that's the only way. That's the only possible way. Okay. Next, we want to find out those two numbers. Those two numbers are coming from actually this last number, 27. What times what? What times what gives you 27? And these are those two numbers. And that is what? 3 times 9? 3 times 9, right? So let's put down 3 and 9. Now we got to figure out the sign, okay? Now to do that, we're going to do the donut shape. The donut shape will give you the middle term when you add them. 3x and 9x. How can you, if you add them, how can you get negative 12x? How is that possible? Well, if both 3x and 9x is negative, then negative 3x plus negative 9x is negative 12x, isn't it? That means both of them will take the negative sign. You get that? That means x-intercept is going to be the opposite numbers, right? Because of that zero product property. So the x is going to be 3 and 9. That's x-intercept. And y-intercept, you're going to, I'm going to write this one more time. How do you find y-intercept? You're going to set x to 0. So you're going to do 0 squared minus 12 times 0 plus 27. That's a 0, that's a 0. So what do you get? Y equals 27. You get that? Okay, try number 2. Very good. Let's factor it. Again, the leading coefficient is 1, meaning it's just x squared. That means it's going to be x and x. Okay. The last number is 12 or negative 12. So it's going to be 2 times 3. No, 2 times 6. You've got a couple of possibility. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. But we want to get negative 1x as the middle term. So I'm going to go for 3 and 4. And I'm going to do the donut shape. That's a 3x. And then we get 4x. But when you add them, you want to get negative 1x. How can you create negative 1x with 3x and 4x? If 4x is negative, 3x is positive, then you get, when you add them together, you're going to get negative 1x. That means 4 is negative. 3 has to be positive. So x-intercept is going to be what? It's the opposite number, right? So it's going to be negative 3 and positive 4. Did you get that? Will you check your answers for number 2, everybody? And then y-intercept is, what is y-intercept going to be? It's going to be that last number, isn't it? It's going to be negative 12. You don't need to do anything, okay? Y-intercept is negative 12. That's it. You're done for number 2. Is it getting easier, guys? Okay. I hope it is. Number 3. Now, this one is a little bit more challenging to factor, okay? But we can do this, guys. The leading coefficient is now 2. It's 2x squared. So how do you break it down? It is, again, there's only one possibility. Well, I'm going to let you work on that, okay? I think I talk too much. You figure out. This is where I walk around and peek into your notebook when you were in classroom. But I have no way of what you guys are doing right now. I saw my son playing games on cell phone while teachers were talking to the class the other day. I hope you're not playing game on cell phone right now, guys. No games here. All right. Of course not. So it will be 2x and x. Were you able to figure out that 11x, how you get 11x? So 21, it's, what is it, 3 times 7, right? 3 times 7 is 27. So I'm going to put 3 and 7, okay? Or maybe 7 and 3, I don't know. But let's do 3 and 7. It's 3x and 14x. Can you create 11x out of 3x and 14x? I think we can, right? By adding them. How do you get positive 11x? If 3 is negative and 14 is a positive, then you get 11x, right? That means 3 will take the negative, but 7 has to be positive. You get that? And so now this one is not obvious as one of the answer is going to be negative 7, okay? So that would be negative 7, right? But for the other one, why don't you try this, okay? Can't erase this. All right, now working. You're going to set each parenthesis equal to 0. 2x minus 3 equal to 0. And then you're going to solve it, okay? By adding 3 on both sides. You get 2x equals 3. And then divide by 2 and divide by 2. So x equals 3 over 2, or 1.5, if you want to write that. And the other one is going to be, well, what's the other solution? Negative 7. It's the opposite number. Okay. And then the y-intercept is going to be negative 21. Did you guys get that? Hey, we can finish this, guys. Two more to go. This one will be a little easier because it's going to be just x and x. Okay. You guys get that? So we've got that taken care of, x squared. But how about negative 4? How do you create negative 4? It's either 2 times 2 or 1 times 4. Now, I know 2 and 2 is not going to work. Are you starting to see which possibility is better? Because, okay, this is a wrong answer though. But 2 and 2, you get 2x and 2x. Can you create negative 3x with a 2x and 2x? You can't, right? So you kind of see that already without even testing. But there's another possibility, which is 1 times 4. So you get 1x and you get 4x. How can you create negative 3x, the middle term, if you want to add, when you add 1x and 4x? Well, you can create negative 3x if 4x is negative and 1x is a positive 1x. Then it's negative 3x, isn't it? That means 4 will take negative, 1 is positive. That means x-intercepts are going to be what? It's going to be the opposite numbers, negative 1 and 4. And then what's the y-intercept? You guys tell me. You don't need to type it in. Just say it out loud. What's going to be the y-intercept? What did you get? Y-intercept is negative 4, which is that last number. That is always going to be the y-intercept. Okay. Last question, guys. Okay, let's finish this up. Okay. No assignments. Okay. If you come to the class, you will finish the assignment in class. Okay. That's my goal philosophy for this edge classes, at least in my class. Okay. So that you don't have to worry about it. So you try, guys. You can do this. It's not the same question, is it? No, okay. Were you guys able to factor that? It's going to be 3x. Well, it's going to be 3x and x. So that's for sure. That's that. And then we're going to focus on the last number. What times what gives 4? Okay, again, there are two possibilities. 2 times 2 or 1 times 4. I'm going to try 2 times 2. You always want to try the numbers that are close together, okay, which is 2 and 2. 1 and 4 is far apart, right? It may not work, okay, but that's a rule of thumb. The last times we didn't try 2 and 2, but we tried 1 and 4 right away because I knew the middle two terms is 3, and then 1 and 4 will give me 3, right? So some of them are obvious, but if it's not obvious, just use the combination that are close together, which is 2 and 2. Again, I'm not even sure if this will work out, but now can you create 11 with a 2x and 6x? No. If you add them, you get 8x, right? And it's not even close to 11. So 2 and 2 is not gonna work out. Okay, so that was a bad luck. So let's try 1 and 4. 1x. 3 times 4 is 12x. Can you create negative 11? If you add them, the donuts, you need to get the middle term, negative 11x. How do you do that? If 12x is negative 12x, if 1x is positive, then you get negative 11x, right? That means 1 will take positive and 4 has to be negative. And the solution will be the first one. Again, when you have like a 3x, you try to set that 3x plus 1, that 1 parentheses, equal to 0. And then you're going to solve it. Okay, so subtract 1, 3x equals negative 1. Divide by 3. So x equals negative 1/3. And what's the other solution? Positive 4. Positive 4 is coming from this one right here. And then the y-intercept is, what is the y-intercept? It's that last number, negative 4. What do you guys think? Were you able to do that by yourself? Yeah, very good. Very good job. Okay. Maybe some of you, okay, scale of 1 to 5, where are you? I've got this. Anybody 2, 2.5 or 1, even 1? Are you guys okay? Feel good? Maybe some of you are not too confident still. Okay. We are going to practice this, okay, more, okay? But let's end the class right now. I think we've done enough of math for today. So we'll pick up from here from on tomorrow. Okay. So guys, thanks for your participation. Make sure to turn in this assignment before you do anything else. Do it right now. Take a picture and turn it in. And after that, so you're done for the class today. So you guys have a great day. If you want to stick around and ask me more questions, you're welcome to do that. Okay, so have a great day, guys. Does anybody want to copy the first part of the notes? Anybody? Or take a picture of it? No, you guys all good? All right. I'm gonna stop sharing. All right, are you guys okay? If you do not have any questions, I'm gonna shut it down. All right, you guys have a great day, okay? We'll see you guys tomorrow.